AccuWeather forecast, I'm Ruth O'Brien.
From local sports to national newsmakers, this is the show everybody is talking about. Live from the Granite State, it's Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Good morning and welcome to the Mike and the Hoss Show, powered by the Yum Shop at the Pulse of New Hampshire. I'm Mike Dene, and alongside Charlie Hossack, we are Mike and the Hoss. Dog back in studio. Big happenings in New Hampshire. Big happenings this weekend. Dog just listed about 30 of them that are be going on. It's just we got Bike Week, we got Father's Day tomorrow, and then Charlie's favorite holiday of the year.
Today is Happy Flag Day, everybody. June 14th. For me, it's my favorite holiday, and I'm looking forward to celebrating a little bit later today. I told you, Mike, off air, we're going to celebrate Father's Day a little early with my family, but it's also truly a celebration of Flag Day. So I'll be enjoying myself in the great state of Maine later today.
Yep, and there's a couple protests out there, so be careful at intersections. There are some protests going on out there.
I'll be avoiding the intersections.
Yes, avoid the intersections. Yeah. We had some, we were able to get on a little bit earlier as far as talking about, some of the things that are going on, and the difference in our poll questions between the X crowd and the Facebook crowd. And I think we're probably going to see that again.
I think so. It's interesting because I guess you look at the X crowd would be a bit of a younger crowd, and at Facebook, which obviously we're live on Facebook. We love Facebook as Mike and the Hoss, but Facebook is really turning into the kind of the older generation. The kids, the younger generation is really not using Facebook as much as us older folk. And I guess we're not really old, Mike, but I just said that. But it's kind of turning into like our generation and boomers that are on Facebook.
And, even X is probably on, it sounds crazy, but on the older end. It's not TikTok. Yeah. TikTok's younger and all those other kinds of things. Even Instagram's younger. X is a little bit older, but Facebook apparently is the really old crowd.
It's it's the geriatric crowd of social media.
It seems to be. It seems to be. All right. Mike and the Hoss is powered by the Yum Shop, located in the heart of downtown Wolfboro. Can be found on the Pulse of New Hampshire radio stations and all over the world on the Pulse of New Hampshire app. You can always catch up and listen to our previous shows on the Pulse Podcast Network, Spreaker, Audible, Amazon Music, and a whole bunch of others. The Yum Shop has over 100 varieties of fresh baked goods, including 6 different types of bread and a full-service ice cream bar, and of course, their most famous item, the gingerbread cookie. Make sure to visit the Yum Shop the next time you're in Wolfboro or online at yumshop.com. And while you're there, enter the discount code of Mike and the Hoss to receive 20% off a Gingy Box. You can always join a conversation, 603-228-2080. That is 603-228-2080. And obviously, we want to thank the Heinz Group of Philadelphia and London to sponsor our Facebook live stream and our YouTube live stream. So you could be watching the three of us live on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And also social media, Charlie?
Absolutely. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on X. We are on Instagram. And we are on TikTok. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see. It's a little bit on Instagram and Facebook, but Abby took an opportunity to highlight one of our drinks we're going to talk about here in a minute, Mike. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a lot of our businesses to have some type of Mike and the Hoss special. Back Bay Boathouse has had it for quite some time with the Mike and the Hoss penalty box, and we're hoping to add more to it. So Abby is in negotiations with some of our other businesses.
That's awesome. I'm excited about one of them that we talked about this week because
yes.
It doesn't go well with my no carb diet, but I can't wait to break out for that. Hey, we also, Charlie and we have a show middle of the week, overtime with Mike and the Hoss, and I want to take back one of my takes. We had some fun this week. We talked about the face of the leagues, and I put Rory McIlroy as the face of golf. Yes. I am taking that back as Rory. First of all, he played crappy, but second, how he lost composure on the golf course and blew up the tee box at the U.S. Open in anger, and the face of the league cannot do that. So Rory McIlroy, again, if you want to listen to this stuff, Overtime with Mike and the Hoss, you can find that on the Pulse Podcast Network. All right. Ready for opening takes, Charlie?
I'm ready.
All right. Brought to you by the Back Bay Boathouse,
where you can enjoy delicious food and drinks right next to the lake. Don't forget to order the $5 Mike and the Hoss penalty box during happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. And Mike, if you don't mind, I wanted to start because it kind of gives a little preview of yours.
Yeah,
of where we
I
kinda
know. There's a related ones. Yep.
Yeah.
So go.
Okay. So my opening take talks about professional athletes today. They require rest days due to more intense training regimen, a greater understanding of muscle recovery, and a recognition of the detrimental effects of overuse and injuries. So we have complained, Mike, in the past about if you're going to go see, let's say the Celtics, you're going to go see the Celtics. You don't want to find out the morning of the Celtics game that Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum is taking a rest day. Because
Management day.
Yeah, management day.
Load management.
Yeah, we as fans pay a lot of money to go see the stars who we want to see play, and then we go there and we don't get to see them play. So really, my take is as we've looked at professional athletes over the years, you can go back. I don't care. You can go back 100 years as far as you want to go back. Does it seem to be that they are taking more and more management days / rest days, whatever you want to call it, than they did in the past? And I understand that there's now greater understanding of health. Training is significantly different now than it was even 20 years ago. They understand muscle recovery. They even understand the psychological benefits of having a day off. I mean, we all know that sometimes, we need to take a day off, right? You just need to get out of the zone. You need a day off to focus on something else, something that, you might love to do. But that being said, from a professional athlete point of view, they're working a very limited amount of days. Plus, they're also producing a product for their fans. What are your thoughts? You, Mike, you're going to go kind of talk a little bit about pitchers of the past versus current pitchers. But for me, it seems like I always have to check if I want to go to a game who's playing and who's not playing because it changes on a daily basis. And I don't, we love baseball, Mike, and I don't know why a third baseman needs to have a day off. I mean, he might get 4 or 5 ground balls in a game, and he's going to get 4 at bats. Why and how is that exhausting? It kind of blows my mind that like someone like that would need a day off. What do you want to talk about?
Well, what caught my attention this week is it came across my feed that Jacob Misiorowski, if I'm saying that correctly, a rookie for the Brewers, threw a no-hitter through 6 innings, 80 pitches, 102 miles an hour. The guy throws heat, and they pulled him. They pulled him. This is no, we're not going to overuse you. We're not. And I was like, geez, Crow, would Nolan Ryan ever have been pulled after 80 pitches, back in the day? Would Roger Clemens? And you just keep going down the line. There are no more horses. These arms are so protected that there's no more horses. There's no more Jack Morris going 10 innings in Game 7 of the World Series. We don't see that. Behold, last night, where Crochet went 9 innings last night, throwing 100 miles an hour in the 9th inning and threw 112 pitches or so.
Right.
That was awesome. That made the game last night by him going that long. That was an event last night because the starting pitcher had it on his shoulders that he was going to do it. Now, granted, he gave up the
home run,
the 600-foot home run to Judge, and then that ended up knocking him out of the game. But he still went the 9 innings. It was the horse on the mound, and I miss that. I'm so tired of these guys getting pulled, and the Red Sox are notorious for this. So leaving him in there to throw the 100 and something pitches was great. I thought it was a step in the right direction. There's so much protection around these guys that I know that it's protecting investments, but are they getting any value from their investments if they're never pitching?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of stuff. And yes, there's stories now about, John Lackey. This is a good example. He lost a couple years with the Red Sox, or Chris Sale lost a couple years when he signed with the Red Sox because their arms just gave out. But are their arms giving out because they're not pitching? Because they're not being Nolan Ryan used to throw 140 pitches to start,
right?
And he never pulled out. And there was more of those guys then. There's none of those guys now.
And speaking of Nolan Ryan, I mean, I remember watching Nolan Ryan pitch. There were situations and key game situations where he pitched a game, and the next day he had to come in and pitch some relief innings, and he didn't care. He just came in and threw as hard as he threw the night before. I mean, it's interesting. You're right. You're right about I mean, I understand the science and all this behind it, but you would think that if you're up there pitching all the time, your arm is going to get stronger. You are going to become a more effective pitcher. Could you imagine if you're on the mound, you're on the bump, Mike, and you have a no-hitter and they're pulling you after 80 pitches when you can, like, this is history. You have the opportunity to go down in the history books of pitching a no-hitter. It's not like there are thousands of no-hitters in the game. Your name is going to kind of be etched in stone, and they took them out with 80 pitches.
I know there's another side to this. And you talked about it, Charlie, all the intensive training and all that other kind of stuff. I just wonder if babying their arms is more detrimental than having them throw. And we're a little bit old school, as far as where we're coming from, but there's more Tommy John surgeries now than there ever has been.
Right.
And I was playing golf this morning. And my buddy says some guys are getting Tommy John as like preemptive. They're getting preemptive Tommy John.
Yeah.
Garrett Crochet had Tommy John in 2022, just 3 years ago. And so, there's more and more guys are getting this Tommy John surgery. And I don't know if I don't know the answer to it, but getting yanked at 80 pitches when you have a no-hitter going,
right,
it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And they said, well, it's his first start. It's his first start in the majors, but he's had 15 starts in
AAA.
Single A, double A, triple A ball.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's not like he walked off the street and just started throwing and he threw 6 innings. I don't get that part. I really love what the Red Sox did last night. I really love Garrett Crochet. That we haven't seen a horse like that in a long time. And I'll go to the Yankees. Andy Pettitte was a horse. When that guy was throwing well, he stayed in games. David Wells was a horse. Those guys stayed in games and they pitched until they, I know they couldn't pitch anymore, but
yeah,
they took the teams on their backs, and the Major League Baseball needs more of that. They need a Jack Morris to go 10 innings in a game 7. They need those kinds of things, because whether you like the Red Sox, whether you like the Yankees, it was a good show last night watching Crochet go 9 innings.
Right.
It never happens.
No. And just so before people, try to crucify us for this, we're talking about professional athletes. There needs to be, we do the Cal Ripken stuff and all that. There's pitch counts, and you need to abide by that. Kids obviously whose arms and muscles are developing don't need to go out there and throw 100 pitches. At the 12U level, it's capped at 85. At the 10U, it's capped at 75. So those need to be in place. Absolutely. You don't want that with kids, or really even high schoolers. But we're talking about guys that are professional athletes playing in Major League Baseball.
I got a question before we go to break on this. Do you think more kids 25, 30 years ago, before pitch counts, were throwing their arms out compared to now? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, maybe we could get like a high school coach or something like that. Yeah. And, maybe an ex-high school coach that we both know can come on and talk about, 30 years ago, were there more arm issues when there wasn't the restrictions for pitching, right, compared to there are so many restrictions for pitching now? Are there more arm issues? Or is there more people getting arm tired? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah,
but I think it would be a good question to ask.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear. You're right. Yeah, it's true that these regulations really only came in the past 10 to 15 years as far as pitch counts. And first it was innings, and then it turned into pitch counts. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back.
Take the pulse of New Hampshire with you anywhere
and anytime.
Just ask your smart device to play the Pulse of NH.
The following legal minute is presented by McDonald Law, the official law office of the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Hi, this is Lauren, a divorce and family lawyer from McDonald Law in Hampton Falls. Did you know that there are 2 different types of divorce in New Hampshire? Fault and no fault. No-fault divorce, or divorce based on irreconcilable differences, is by far the norm. But New Hampshire still maintains a list of fault grounds by statute, including, among others, adultery, habitual drunkenness, and abandonment. Some of the benefits to a person seeking a fault ground divorce is the ability to bring closure to what they've lived through. If you find yourself in this situation and want to talk to a lawyer about your options, we at McDonald Law have been practicing for over 20 years, and many of us are former law enforcement. Give us a call at 603-712-5000. 5226, or visit our website, mcdonaldlaw.us. That's MACDONALD law.us.
McDonald Law, the official law office of the Pulse of New Hampshire.
This summer, join the Proudy, the most powerful community celebration to bring hope to cancer patients and their families, to fuel groundbreaking research, and to get us closer to ending cancer once and for all.
I Proudy for every single person who fights the battle against cancer.
I Proudy for my Uncle Joe,
my late husband,
for our grandfather,
for my sister Robin, for the survivors.
Come join us. The Proudy is a family-friendly event where you can bike, walk, row, or volunteer to support the life-saving work at Dartmouth Cancer Center. Hope starts here. Hope starts with you.
I'm Proudy for all the people who helped me survive.
I'm Proudy to spread hope.
I'm Proudy for you.
Join us at the 44th Annual Proudy on July 12th. You'll support groundbreaking cancer research. You'll bring support services to patients and their families, and you'll provide hope to people facing cancer in New England and throughout the world. Register for the Proudy today at theproudy.org. That's the PROUTY.org. Come Proudy with us. Hope starts here.
Do you have a worn, faded, or torn American flag? According to the U.S. Flag Code, flags that are no longer serviceable should be retired with dignity, preferably by burning. That's why Win Waste Innovations has teamed up with the American Legion, Daughters of American Revolution, and Scouting America to give proper retirement to your old or tattered flags. On Flag Day, June 14th, these partners will hold a flag retirement ceremony at Win Waste state-of-the-art waste to energy facility in Petticoat. If you have a flag in need of proper retirement, please bring it to your local American Legion post by Thursday, June 12th, and deposit it in the Red Win Waste Box to be part of this respectful tribute to our nation's colors. For more drop-off locations, simply text FLAG to 78,000. Win Waste Innovations, performance for the planet. To learn more, go to win-waste.com and select Concord on the locations page. Coming up at noon, we talk tech with Kim Commando. In the meantime, we're back to Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike and the Hoss, Sports Talk Classics in New England. Magic broadcast fantastic. Overboard crew where the echoes scream. Fathers, coaches chasing the dream.
If you're watching on Facebook Live, you'll have realized that Charlie and I just barely made it back in time. We were having a conversation and we just
chit chatting.
That's the music.
Yeah, it almost turned into the J-Dog show.
I will say, guys, the one thing about this, with all the pictures and the like, one thing, if you guys haven't noticed, analytics. That's all it is. It's analytics. It's not about protect. It's analytics.
It's spin rate. It's all those kinds of things that they're figuring out now. And you're right.
Three times they're going to figure out the fourth time. Like, come on, really?
Yeah, I know.
A tradition of ours is this is Championship Saturday for most of the sports in New Hampshire, and we like to talk about who's playing in these championship games and wish both teams luck. But New Hampshire Sports is brought to you by Bailey's Bubble.
Family owned and operated Bailey's Bubble in downtown Wolfboro serves the finest ice cream in the state, May through October. If you can't make it to Wolfboro for ice cream, you can still order their hot fudge, panucci, and butterscotch sauces at baileysbubble.com. My favorite is their homemade hot fudge. When placing your order, don't forget to tell them that Mike and the Hoss sent you. So Bailey's Bubble open. Come on down and get some delicious ice cream.
All right. As we mentioned, today's Championship Saturday for most of the teams, and the weather looks like it's going to start cooperating this afternoon.
Yes.
So any games that were happening this afternoon should be a go. In baseball, in Division 1, it's number 10 Winnicott, Cinderella story at number 6 Exeter. In Division 2, it's number 2 John Stark at number 1 Sauhegan. So the top of the brackets made it through that one. In Division 3, it's number 5 Monadnock at number 3 Bishop Brady. And in Division 4, it's number 6 Woodsville at number 1 Epping. So best of luck in baseball.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to comment with the D1 team, Exeter knocked off the 1 seed Pinkerton Astros. So it was a heck of a game in the semifinals. Softball happening today, Division 1. Number 3, Pinkerton at number 1, Londonderry. In Division 2, number 2, Kingswood at number 1, Co-Brown. In Division 3, number 2, Prospect Mountain. Remember, they've won the past, 3 years in a row. They've been the champions, but they have to face number 1, St. Thomas, and St. Thomas beat them in the regular season. Division 4, we have number 4, Pittsburgh Canaan at number 1, Woodsville. So good luck to all the softball girls out there today.
Boys lacrosse in Division 1, it's number 2, Bishop Girton at number 1, Pinkerton. Division 2, number 6, Portsmouth at number 1, Derryfield. And in Division 3, number 2, Plymouth at the first seed, Co-Brown.
Awesome. So good luck to the boys lacrosse. Girls lacrosse is already wrapped up. So let's talk a little bit about the champions. In Division 1, it was Portsmouth over Souhegan. So congratulations to Portsmouth. In Division 2, it was Winnicunnet over Merrimack Valley. Congratulations to Winnicunnet. In Division 3, it was St. Thomas over Guilford. Congratulations to St. Thomas.
All right. Boys spring volleyball. So I mean that'd be a whole topic. Why is boys volleyball happen in the spring and girls volleyball happens in the fall?
And not every school has a there's only, as you're going to say, one division. Not every school has a boys volleyball team.
Yeah, I think it. How about like beach volleyball? Where we have the beach volleyball? We do that. Would that be cool?
Could you imagine the two of us out there? I mean, wow, we'd be so good.
We don't want anybody to imagine that. All right. Division 1. There's only one division of boys basketball. It's number 2, Hollis Brookline at number 1, Co-Brown.
Yeah, that's boys volleyball.
Boys volleyball. What did I say? Basketball?
Yeah, you said basketball. It's all right. You got the basketball in your mind.
I do.
So good luck to Hollis Brookline and Co-Brown. All right, boys tennis. Boys tennis has already happened. In Division 1, it was number 2, Bedford over number 1, Hanover. A little upset. Congratulations to the Bedford Bulldogs. In Division 2, we had number 1, Goffstown over number 3, Hollis Brookline. Congratulations to Goffstown. In D3, we had the 1 seed St. Thomas over the 2 seed Guilford. So congratulations in tennis to St. Thomas and all the boys.
In girls tennis, again, already played. In Division 1, it was Derryfield over Bedford. In Division 2, Souhegan over Portsmouth. And Division 3, Lebanon over Guilford. So congratulations to Derryfield, Souhegan, and Lebanon.
Awesome. And then we have one final. We have co-ed. This is cool. I like this. Co-ed unified volleyball. And this already happened. It was Dover over Oyster River. So congratulations to Dover with the co-ed co-ed unified volleyball champions, Dover. Awesome. So this is I love this. It's a great day because, and Dog mentioned this, you've got a lot of graduations going on this weekend. We had some last night, some going on, today. And then, of course, you have all of these sports, all of these championships that are being played. And then you've got Father's Day tomorrow. So there's a lot happening this weekend.
You know what else is starting to happen? I'm going to jump off of New Hampshire sports for a second. Have you guys caught the Athletes Unlimited Softball League, the AUSL? They've been playing games on ESPN. It's a new startup league. Say that again, Doug.
MLB Network as well. They're going to have a game tonight.
Very closely aligned. Their chief sponsor actually is Major League Baseball, and they're trying to. Charlie, this is what you had talked about with the WNBA and the NBA, that there should be more alignment. We're seeing that with this softball league. This is an inaugural league. There's 4 teams, and they're not playing in their home cities. They're playing in 10 different neutral locations throughout the United States to try to promote this thing. 24-game season. Different kind of playoffs thing, that the way they're seeding and stuff like that. So it's really kind of innovative what they're doing. I described it as similar to the Women's Hockey League as far as the website's incredibly friendly. You go there, you player profiles and all those kinds of things. And then they have this combination with the Women's Sports Bar Alliance, which I never knew existed. Did you know the Women's Sports Bar Alliance existed? You did know that?
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. No, I didn't realize the Women's Sports Bar Alliance even existed.
Yes, there's a national alliance of women-owned sports bars, and they're they're working with this softball league along with Major League Baseball to promote it, and it's really kind of cool. And some of the names of the sports bars are I just caught my Whiskey Girls Tavern, Babe Sports Bar.
I like
me.
I like Title 9 in Phoenix.
Title
Arizona.
9, a bar of their own, a bar of their own. I love that. Chapstick. Gee, these are great. I want to go to some of these things.
Yes.
How about the sports bra?
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's awesome. But my point is, and have some fun with that. But this softball league, we've criticized the WNBA in terms of their marketing. And we're going to talk about WNBA in a little bit, but their marketing and how they've missed opportunities to promote their sport along the lines. They've been around for 30 years, and they've really missed, some of those moments that they could promote with alliances like this. And so you're seeing this softball league, neutral site games all over the country to promote it. Think Savannah Bananas sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're all over the place and do that. And eventually, in a few years, they're trying to grow the brand of the sport itself, of the league, rather than grow the brand of their teams, which is a kind of a novel idea what they're doing. They have this alliance with Major League Baseball. They're on the Major League Baseball network. They're on ESPN. They're on different platforms, and you're able to see that. The technology is up there. You're getting all these not just the stats, but the profile of these players. And these are, former college players that carried their college teams. This is real good softball. And now they have this Women's Sports Bar Alliance. And so in all these sports bars, this softball is what's being played. This is front and center ahead of the other sports that are going on. They're promoting this softball league. This thing's going to take off. You're going to watch. This thing's going to take off, and the WNBA could learn from some of the stuff that they're doing.
It's true. It's so interesting when you talk about the WNBA, and we will talk a little bit about that later in the show. But it's just like basic marketing, basic advertising, and I'm sure they're paying people that are experts in the field lots of money, and they just can't get it right. And you have a league like the Athletes Unlimited Softball League, which yes, it has the backing of MLB. And they're getting it right. They're doing what they need to do. And it's similar, Mike, like you said, the Professional Women's Hockey League, where they're able to market it and fill the stands. And there's just something that is working. And I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe we'd probably make millions of dollars if we figured it out. Why the WNBA can't seem to kind of become as popular as some of these newer leagues, these other leagues. A friend of mine said to me, thank goodness Caitlin Clark is coming back today, because I haven't even followed the WNBA for the past 2 weeks because it didn't matter, because Caitlin Clark wasn't playing.
Drop, guys, in ratings. 53% drop in ratings and interest for the Indiana Fever when Clark was out. So this helps when she comes back.
Yeah. So, if people aren't sure who the face of the WNBA is, they now know, because nobody cares unless Caitlin Clark is playing.
That's a problem, though. That's a real legitimate problem that the WNBA has, that they can't overcome that. They had an opportunity over the last 2 weeks when Caitlin Clark was out to fill the void, and they couldn't do it. We talked about the ticket prices went from $88 to basically they were paying you to go to the games when the Fever played the Sky last week.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go see that league right now. And when she's not playing, and that's a real problem that they have, because they're also not protecting her. And we've talked about that part.
Right.
They're not protecting her. They need to wrap her in bubble wrap right now for the next couple of years and give her the Jordan treatment as far as fouls and those kinds of things, because she is that meal ticket, because they can't figure it out any other way.
Right.
I can't name a player on the in the softball league right now. I can name some of the advisors: Jenny Finch, Fernandez, Sarah Fernandez. They're all, the advisors are there. Those are the former ones, the softball players that we knew. But the players, because the league itself was being promoted, and to have that connection with Major League Baseball, with Major League Baseball, similar, and we talked about this with the Women's Hockey League, that it's the Boston, it's Montreal, it's Chicago, they took the original six, and they partnered with those teams to a point where their jerseys are old school Bruins jerseys. It was that kind of stuff. And that was your idea, Charlie, for the WNBA and the NBA. They just don't want to do it. They don't want to make those partnerships. At least they're not taking those opportunities to do that.
Right.
So anyway,
it's true.
Yeah, we'll talk WNBA when we come back. We'll talk Caitlin Clark and what's happening. Plus, we have we got to get some Red Sox talk because again, that was a big win last night.
Yeah.
And then the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. So we'll be right back.
107.7 WTPL, the pulse of New Hampshire.
Hi, this is Dr. Stephanie from Crossroads Chiropractic. Adjustments changed my life as a child suffering chronic ear infections and saved my parents from a lifetime of chronic neck and back pain. When I grew up, I became a chiropractor to help other families live healthier, happier lives with less pain and more vitality. We've been voted best chiropractor year after year and literally helped thousands. But one of my proudest accomplishments is creating a second generation of chiropractors.
Hi, this is Dr. Brooke. I'm the little girl from the Crossroads commercials in the 2000s, and now I'm a chiropractor too. I share my mom's passion for leaving the planet healthier than we found it. Together with my husband, we are carrying on the Crossroads legacy. Crossroads is different. We're not a quick fix place. We do a careful examination, get to know your health concerns, and we make a plan for correcting your unique spinal misalignments. Find out how good being well adjusted can be. A complete exam with any necessary x-rays is just $59 at Crossroads Chiropractic in Bedford, Pembroke, Epping, and Meredith. Find out more at crossroadschiropractic.com.
Hey, it's Big Pete, and this is Repeat from the Appleseed Restaurant in beautiful Bradford, New Hampshire. Today, we'd like to present the Duchess. Soup, that is. That's our signature soup. We've had it since we've been open, 46 years now. It's a blend of cheeses, celery, carrots, onions, all put together, slow cooked, comes out nice and creamy. Delicious. And Dad, how many people have that recipe? 1, 2, 3. Actually, that would be nobody. And why is that, Dad? Because it's a secret recipe. That's right, it is. I believe the original recipe is kept in the basement in the Appleseed Vault. Do we still have the combination for that? Let's talk about catering, Dad. Good idea. We have a website dedicated to our catering, which is appleseedcatering.com. Lots of good information there. And for all other things Appleseed, ... menus, online ordering, up-to-date hours, and even gift cards. Check out appleseedrestaurant.com. What's that website again, Dad? You can get anything you want at appleseedrestaurant.com. Oh, great. Now we got to pay Arlo royalties.
Back with Bill from Genrose. And Bill, last time we talked, I didn't get to ask you about your pricing when it comes to your stone and tile. What separates you guys from the big box stores? For real.
Well, we buy from all the largest manufacturers in the world. So we've got everything from build-a-grade tile that looks great, price is right, or to your high-end stuff that everybody wants, maybe in a custom master bath, still priced right. And the quality is always going to be there.
Okay, Bill. Now we know about the tile and the interior. Well, let's talk pavers and outside. What you got?
Yeah, well, they're making porcelain pavers now for the outdoor world, which gives us different sizes, different colors, options than what they have for the old-fashioned cement pavers that have been used for 100 years.
Right.
They last forever.
And the colors?
And the colors are great. We can even match the same colors to your outdoor porcelain pavers as your inside porcelain tiles.
Excellent. Well, I guess all that's left to do is to let them know how to get there.
We're located in Pembroke, Merrimack, and Intervale, or genrose.com.
Get in touch with the show anytime at thepulseofnh.com and on the free-to-download Pulse of NH app. Now, back to Mike and the Haas on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
603-228-2080. This is my favorite one, but we always don't have enough time to play that whole thing.
Maybe we'll play it earlier in the show next time. When I say we, that's all up to Dog.
Yeah, or maybe when we get our second or third hour, we can really just lay into that song then.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, trivia, Charlie.
We do. We have trivia. Today's trivia is sponsored by Lucas Roasting Company. You've got a $20 electronic gift card up for grabs. What you're going to do if you know the answer to this trivia question, you're going to call in. J-Dog's going to answer, and he's going to give you the code if you get the correct answer. Lucas Roasting Company is located on King Street in beautiful Back Bay, Wolfboro. They serve delicious coffee, tea, espresso, and lattes. Lucas Roasting was voted best coffee in New Hampshire in 2020, 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. They even roast their own coffee inside their cafe. Lucas Roasting offers over 40 different single origins and blends of coffee. Lucas Roasting can handle personal and large business orders. Stop by their cafe on King Street in Wolfboro. In Wolfboro, or order online to have coffee shipped right to your door. The cafe is open Wednesday through Saturday from 7 to 3, or you can visit Lucas Roasting .com anytime. That's lucasroasting.com anytime. Don't forget to tell them that Mike and the Hoss sent you. All right, today's trivia question for a $20 electronic gift card to Lucas Roasting Company. What NBA player has the most game-winning buzzer beaters in their career? What NBA player has the most game-winning buzzer beaters in their career? So the shot, a buzzer beater, if you don't know what it is, it's the shot to win the game. So who is the NBA player that has the most in their career? 603-228-2080, 603-228-2080 for a gift card to Lucas Roasting Company in beautiful Wolfboro.
All right, let's jump to the poll question because we want to talk Red Sox, and it kind of has to do with the Red Sox last week's one. Dog, what was last week's question? And we'll do this one too.
Okay, it was on X and on Facebook at the Pulse of NH. Should the Red Sox get a new ballpark? And again, we talked about two Americas or two age groups, brackets, whatever. On X, it was 100% yes, 0% no. On the other side of the token, on the Pulse of NH on Facebook, it was 95% no, 5% yes.
Yeah, it's interesting because I obviously looked at all the comments. I liked almost all the comments. And I just don't, and here's my take. I don't know about any of these people, what they've done. So, I kind of reflect on my own. So I've been to 17 ballparks. All right. I'd like to, eventually I'm going to get to all of them, but I've been to 17 ballparks. And I don't have Fenway in my top 10 or 11. Like it's just the history is there. I get all that stuff, but I don't know if these people have actually left Boston, Massachusetts and gone to other ballparks, especially some of the new ones, and experienced the amenities and still felt like you're on the field and part of the game. I just, I understand the nostalgia and all that stuff, but people, you got to get out and go to some other ballparks before maybe you start saying that there's absolutely no way that we have to, not get rid of Fenway. Here's one. Yeah. Here's one other thing. Just so for the people that care, if they keep Fenway, which it looks like they're going to, the Citgo sign is going to be moved. So they are actually elevating it and moving it back. So you will still have a view of the Citgo sign from Fenway once they put in this massive building that's going to be behind the Green Monster.
I've changed my tune a little bit. I was always a keep Fenway, but I just realized that at some point, whether it's this year or 50 years from now, at some point somebody's going to say, no, we're not going to keep it. It's just too much. Yeah. And they're going to tear it down. So why not enjoy the modern amenities sooner rather than later? If you went to Schaefer Stadium back in the day and then went to Gillette Stadium, you would want a new baseball park. If you went to the Boston Garden and then went to the Fleet Center at the time, you would want a new facility. And that's the difference. If you appreciated those new facilities, or you'd be rather having an obstructed view or sitting on the metal benches at Schaefer or obstructed view at the Garden, you would want a new park. You would understand why a new park is to be important.
I agree. I did the same thing. I went to Yankee Stadium, the original Yankee Stadium. Okay, nostalgia, awesome. And then I went to the new Yankee Stadium, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. I mean, it's just try it out. Like, if you get an opportunity to go to a newer field, you're going to be like, wow, this is great.
Only been to 3 ballparks: Progressive Field, Fenway, and Tropicana Field. And when you go to Tropicana Field, watching it on TV, it sucks. When you go there, it's not half bad. It's better than Fenway.
Dog, my gosh, I can't believe you said that, dog. That might be sacrilege. You think that well, the Trop doesn't exist anymore, but you thought the Trop was better than Fenway?
Oh.
All right.
Hey, speaking of the Red Sox, big win last night. I mean, any time they win, it's kind of big. We had talked about it earlier. Garrett Crochet going 9 innings. Tonight they play pregame 6:15, trying to win game 2 from those dreaded Yankees. Pregame 6:15 and first pitch 7:15, I would assume.
The Fox Saturday baseball game of the week, hence that weird start time.
It's Hunter Dobbins against Carlos Rodon. They got to Carlos Rodon last time. Hunter Dobbins was in the news a little bit this week.
He was.
Probably not necessarily for good things. I don't know if anybody knows the story, but he in his bio all the way through, he's always talked about how his father was drafted by the Yankees. And last week he was asked the question, would you ever play for the Yankees? And he says, absolutely not after how the Yankees treated my father.
Right.
And so naturally in this day and age, it just takes you can ask, Chat GDP or Copilot or whatever. It doesn't take very long to figure it out. And there is no record of his father being drafted or playing for the New York Yankees at any level.
No.
And caught in a little bit of fib. And so he's kind of fodder for New York media right now. So it's going to be, I'm glad this game's happening at Fenway rather than at Yankee Stadium. It's going to be tough the next time he pitches at Yankee Stadium with this, because you mentioned last week when Judge hit the home run off of him, and this was before it was revealed that it was a lie,
right.
Not a truth. Just when him saying that he would never play for the Yankees, Judge kind of stared him down after he hit the home run.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit fodder for New York right now, and this is his first start since then.
Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah, his first start since then. So it's going to be interesting. I'm a Red Sox fan. I want to see the Red Sox do something, this year. I don't want the season to be over in early June. So I'm rooting for him either way.
Well,
but
so Dobbins' dad, Lance, he didn't play for the Yankees. He did play in the MLB. He played for the Diamondbacks organization for 2 seasons back in '96 and '97. But the interesting thing is that I don't know if this has been vetted or not, but he also went on to say that he was really close friends with Andy Pettitte. And I don't know if that's true or not.
I think it was vetted, and I don't think I think that Pettitte said I never met the kid.
Never met the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's going to be Dobbins the liar. They're going to make, when he goes back to New York, they're going to make something about the Pinocchio something. I'm just not to give any more fodder, because we are a global audience, and you can hear us all the way from here to Japan and then some. But
yeah, they're going to do something. But the Red Sox are going for game 2 tonight. 603-228-2080. Do you want to do the trivia one more time before we go to break?
Love to. Yeah. What NBA player has the most game-winning buzzer beaters in their career? What NBA player has the most game-winning buzzer beaters in their career? A chance to win a $20 e-gift card to Lucas Roasting Company, 603-228-2080, 603-228-2080.
All right, when we come back, we're going to do this week's poll question.
The poll question when we come back, or what do you want to do?
When we come back, because we're going to talk WNBA. All right, we'll be right back.
This is the Pulse of New Hampshire, 107.7 WTPL.
Hi, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Kevin. We are the proud owners of your local Budget Blinds.
After a very wet May, the sun is finally out and our phones are ringing with callers looking for help controlling the heat and those bad rays coming in through their windows.
Lisa, you mean ultraviolet rays?
Yeah, those are bad, right?
Yep, you're right.
As always,
at Budget Blinds, we have the perfect solution with our solar shades, which are window coverings designed to reduce glare, heat, and harmful ultraviolet rays from the sun, while still preserving your view to the outside. They're the perfect solution for improving comfort, energy, efficiency, and sun protection in your home or office.
So now is the perfect time to purchase from Budget Blinds with our new exclusive line from Collections & Company.
Which are made in America, includes free motorization, as well as a 15-year warranty.
We're your in-home automation experts that carries blinds, shades, shutters, drapes, and motorized window coverings. So let's get you started today. Text blinds to 78,000.
That's blinds to 78,000.
The following legal minute is presented by McDonald Law, the official law office of the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Hi, this is Lauren, a divorce and family lawyer from McDonald Law in Hampton Falls. Did you know that there are 2 different types of divorce in New Hampshire? Fault and no fault. No-fault divorce, or divorce based on irreconcilable differences, is by far the norm. But New Hampshire still maintains a list of fault grounds by statute, including, among others, adultery, habitual drunkenness, and abandonment. Some of the benefits to a person seeking a fault ground divorce is the ability to bring closure to what they've lived through. If you find yourself in this situation and want to talk to a lawyer about your options, we at McDonald Law have been practicing for over 20 years, and many of us are former law enforcement. Give us a call at 603-712-5226 or visit our website, mcdonaldlaw.us. That's MACDONALD law.us.
McDonald Law, the official law office of the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough. Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
You're listening to the Granite State's own Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
All right, we have Chung Chung from Concord with an answer to the trivia question. Chung, what do you have?
Is it Michael Jordan?
It is. Chung, congratulations. You've won yourself an electronic gift card to Lucas Roasting Company in Wolfboro. Thank you so much. He actually had nine buzzer beaters, so he leads the NBA, of course, with game-winning shots. So thanks, Chung. Thanks for listening to the show. Enjoy your coffee from Lucas Roasting Company.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chung. Stay on the line.
Awesome.
All right, so Dog's going to get his information, but we're going to talk WNBA well, we could talk right now while we're waiting for him.
Let's do it.
Because our poll question is going to be about the WNBA. But you had mentioned earlier in the show that Caitlin Clark is coming back. Yep. Dog said that ratings were down 55% or so when she was out for the last 2.5 weeks. We talked about the tickets. The WNBA has a problem that it's all about one person.
Yes.
Completely. It's complete. Even the Paige Buchers of the world, who played well this week, she's scoring in the 30s.
Yes,
Her team's not doing well, but she's not able to lift the league like Caitlin Clark is for some reason.
So think about this, Mike. So Caitlin Clark, as you said, she's coming back today. They're playing the Fever are playing the undefeated Liberty this afternoon. If the Liberty get upset and Caitlin Clark is back out there and has a halfway decent game, this is going to be an enormous boost for not only Caitlin Clark, but the WNBA. But you're right. It goes back to that question is, if she's the only person that people are excited about when Caitlin Clark either A, is injured or is no longer in the league or whatever, what's going to happen to this league?
They get some problems. But for some reason, they all think that they should be paid a lot more, like NBA level, which is going to be the topic of our poll question this week. Dog?
Should the WNBA players make as much as the NBA players? Yes or no? That's the poll question this week on X at the Pulse of NH, as well as Facebook. We're going to see what the Two Americas idea or is on these social media pages.
Yeah,
I'm on record. I'm a hard no on this. It should be based on revenue of the league, but there are WNBA players that truly believe that they should be paid as much as the men on the other side in the NBA. The New York Liberty recently sold part of their team, and the valuation of the team was $450 million, which was a record. That's the highest than any other team. Yeah. $450 million. The Boston Celtics just sold for $6.4 billion.
Right.
These are not the same kinds of numbers. And the WNBA, by coming out and saying things like they should be paid as much as the NBA players, when the valuations and the revenue are so dramatically different, isn't helping the WNBA.
It's not at all. Yeah, and it's just, it'd be ridiculous. Even if they entertain that thought, the WNBA already runs at a loss. So there's absolutely no way that they could create that type of revenue, at least at this point. Maybe in the future, maybe if they kind of circle their wagons around Caitlin Clark and say, okay, let's just go with this. She's helping out the WNBA. And maybe if we, not try to take her out of games and kind of support and become allies with her, maybe our paychecks will go up. Who knows?
I don't know. Have you caught any of the Stanley Cup Finals?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, I was talking off air with you guys. Stanley Cup Finals and NBA Final. So
I know.
Sorry,
I know.
Sorry. Yes, the NBA Finals and the Stanley
Cup
NHL.
Final, NBA Finals. That's
Yes.
$10 in the swear jar, also known as the Human Fund. No.
Oh my gosh, I just lost some money.
The Stanley Cup Final. Brad Marchand is right now. He has the third highest odds in winning the MVP, which is great because I put a couple bucks on that.
Yeah.
Every 3 out of the 4 games overtime. It's just classic hockey, and I love the NHL when it comes to the watch parties that you're seeing. These big crowds of people and hanging by a thread. Edmonton came back from a 2-goal deficit to win the game in overtime. It's back and forth, good hockey, and. Dog, you had mentioned you hate these rematches. I think this is turning out to be a really, really, really good series. Almost historical.
Better than last year?
Well, it's 3 out of 4 overtime games is pretty good. So we'll see how it ends.
Dog,
that's something, I guess.
Yeah, Dog, you've got the intel. Break it down for us. Take at the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Final. Where are we looking at as far as people watching the games?
Ratings are down, and every time TNT has had the Stanley Cup Final, the ratings have been down because I think it's the confusion of being on cable as opposed to ABC / ESPN, even though ESPN is cable as well. But TNT, for some reason, Turner Sports, their ratings are big for the NBA, not so much for the NHL. That changed a little bit this year, but until the Stanley Cup Final. The NBA Finals, the ratings are down for the first time since early to mid 2000s. That's not good. The Stanley Cup Final ratings are down for the first time since the late 2000s. That's not good. So not good trends there, but they're both are a series now. And that's another thing. I honestly thought, and I said it on my YouTube channel, that this was going to be a sweep by the OKC Thunder. Well, it's a series now. It's tied at 2.
Yeah.
Now Edmonton and Florida. I have Florida winning in 6. That's tied at 2 as well. That's going back to Edmonton tonight. So intrigue is there. Don't get me wrong, but it's not equating to ratings for some reason.
No, and Adam, we kind of knew this was going to happen with the NBA just based on the fact that it was Oklahoma City and Indiana that were playing in it. Adam Silver admitted it. He says, we're killing it in those 2 markets, but those 2 markets don't have national appeal. It's not a New York, Los Angeles. And unlike the NBA with the NHL, there's more, and this is a personal opinion, I think you have more quote-unquote hockey fans rather than basketball fans in terms of that generally just want to see good hockey. Whereas basketball, it seems to be you have to have some ownership in that team, or at least be a major market team, whereas hockey, I think you don't need to be.
Local markets absolutely kill it in the NBA from that standpoint. When it comes, as you mentioned, local markets do it better than anybody else, especially in the NBA. When OKC, when the Charlotte Hornets, rather when the New Orleans Hornets had to play in OKC because of Hurricane Katrina, that was essentially testing the waters to try to get a team in OKC, and eventually it became the Seattle Supersonics. Sonics will come back, but the mid to small markets, they kill it. Ratings-wise, when it comes to the national stage of the NBA Finals, that's where it ends.
Yeah,
and I think that's the opposite with the NHL. Well, not opposite, but I think the NHL can survive on their mid-market teams for the finals a little bit more because that sport is it's a little bit more specific. Where you have specific hockey fans. But again, that's personal opinion.
One thing I wanted to mention about the NBA finals, I've really enjoyed watching some of the bench players, like McConnell coming on, undrafted in the NBA. He's having a phenomenal series. Of course, the superstars, SGA. I love seeing Halliburton. I mean, there are some big names out there that are fun to watch. Caruso's playing well. I mean, just these random bench players that I love seeing that. Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to watch. So
no, it is really good. Hey, congratulations to Chung from Concord for winning the trivia. Don't forget to catch Overtime with Mike and the Hoss middle of the week, and we will be back next Saturday for our live Mike and the Hoss.
Happy Father's
Day.